League One is going to have a very, very interesting season this year, with Birmingham City, Huddersfield and Rotherham being relegated to the division. It's going to be really interesting to see which teams step up to the battle for promotion. We've seen in recent years the likes of Ipswich Town, Portsmouth and even Derby County struggle to get out at the first time of asking, but are Birmingham City or Huddersfield or Rotherham going to be able to do that? Now, in this video, we're going to be looking all into a section of fixtures, the first game of the season. We're going to look at the Christmas game, which is on Boxing Day. We're also going to look into New Year's Day and the final game of the season, pinpoint some important things to note, and which teams I feel may be in that battle for automatic promotion and even the playoffs in this campaign. I think there's a lot of teams who could potentially put themselves in that battle. You've obviously got some big teams joining the division this season, but shall we now get into looking at the opening day of fixtures? If you have not done so already, make sure you hit that subscribe button down below or in this top corner. Stay tuned for all of my latest Derby County, EFL, League One and Championship content heading your way over the course of this upcoming season. There will be streams coming in the future. I'll let you know when they're coming your way, but make sure you hit that subscribe button down below to stay tuned for all of the latest content. So it's going to be a very, very interesting one. There's obviously been a bit of a turbulent time for Barnsley since sacking their manager. They're still not yet improving their squad, and it's going to be a very interesting one for them. And I think that first game on the Friday night at 8 o'clock versus Mansfield, it's going to be a very, very difficult one. Mansfield Town obviously promoted from League Two last season after a very, very interesting campaign for them. Obviously, you've then got Birmingham starting a very, very difficult season in League One against Reading, who are, in my opinion, are a very, very good side. You look down to Bolton, Albion and Lincoln City. I think that is going to be an absolutely massive game. When you look at Lincoln City's performances towards the back end of last season, and then you look at some of the signings that Bolton Albion have made heading into this campaign already, I think Crawley Town, I think they're going to be in a relegation battle. I believe they've lost 6 players already after promotion from League Two. So it's going to be really interesting to see how they get on. Obviously, Blackpool losing Karamako Dembele. I believe Jordan Rhodes has re-signed. Don't quote me on that. I believe he has. Heading into this upcoming campaign, there will be a full preview of League One coming in the week before the season starts, and I think it's going to be a very, very interesting one. I think Rotherham and Exeter are going to have a fairly good battle on that opening day. Obviously, Steve Evans taking charge at Rotherham heading into this new season. They've already made an abundance of signings with a bunch of players rumoured to still be joining. You've also got Bolton Wanderers, the best team in League One last season apparently, who I think really this season Ian Everett's got to get them up. If he doesn't, I can see him losing his job. You've obviously then got a big battle on that opening day between Huddersfield Town and Peterborough United, which I think both of them teams are going to be up there. Obviously, you've then got Stevenage, who I think are going to go for a bit of a difficult season after losing Steve Evans. Obviously, closing it out, you've got Wrexham and Wycombe, which I think is going to be mega, mega difficult. Stockport, it's going to be interesting to see how they do get on. And obviously, Wigan Athletic, how are they going to get on this year? Obviously, in a bit of a different situation now to what they were in 12 months ago. But who's going to come out on top? Who are going to be the actual, danger men this year? Who's going to be the clubs to look out for? There's a fair few, in my opinion. I think there could be one of 12 teams. Obviously, Charlton Athletic. We're at Charlton Athletic. I didn't mention them, but they face Wigan. And for me, I think Charlton could have a very, very good season. I think Nathan Jones set the foundations for a really, really good season. Shall we now take a look into the Christmas fixtures, then the New Year, and then the final game of the season? So Christmas is going to be fairly interesting for these League One clubs. Birmingham host Bolton Albion, and I do think this could be a top of the table sort of top 6 clash when we get towards Christmas. Bolton Albion have made an abundance of signings so far, and their new manager, former Chelsea academy manager, I think they could do really, really well. There's rumours of Dylan Williams signing, former Derby County player for Bolton Albion, so I think it could be really interesting to see how they do get on. Obviously, Bolton and Barnsley, that's going to be a massive, massive fixture in my opinion. Two sides who certainly should be in and around it next season, especially with the seasons they've just had, the squads they have available to them. Obviously, I think Bolton Wanderers have already made 3 signings this summer as I'm recording this video on the 28th of June. Barnsley, not yet got going, but I'm sure they'll find their way. Huddersfield Town have a home game versus Stockport County, which I think could be really, really interesting. Peterborough and Mansfield Town face off against each other. That could be a close one. I'm really intrigued to see how Mansfield Town do get on, and if I am right, I'm pretty sure Nigel Clough is in charge there, and that could be a really, really interesting one. We're going to go through every single club in the preview that we do in a few weeks' time, and it's going to be really interesting looking into these clubs and the transfer they've made, they'll make or have made heading into the season. Obviously, Rotherham and Wigan go head-to-head. Reading and Northampton, they could be two massive games. Obviously, I'm really excited to see what Lincoln City do, and Wrexham, to be completely honest. I think Wrexham could have a really, really good go at League One this season. Obviously, we know the type of money that they've been throwing about in the National League and then in League Two. So it's going to be really interesting to see how they do go. Obviously, they've got a fair few really good players already in their squad. So it's going to be interesting to see how that does develop. Obviously, I believe they've got the likes of Jack Marriott, George Evans, former Derby County players who, in my opinion, could do a job at League One level. So it's going to be really interesting to see. It's the first season in a long time where League One does not have Fleetwood. But shall we move across to the New Year's Day fixture where Wrexham head to Barnsley? I think that'll be a very, very tough one. Blackpool and Shrewsbury go head to head. You look at Burton Albion and Peterborough. Massive, massive fixture. I think Burton Albion are going to have a really, really good season. They've got to be in that fight for me with some of the signings they're making. And I don't know what money they're spending, but with some of the players they've bought in, it's not going to be cheap. With their takeover, their new manager, they could find a new lease of life in League One. I think Charlton Athletic have a very good opportunity to win this game against Crawley Town. You've got Lincoln and Rotherham. That's going to be interesting. Mansfield, Bolton, Birmingham and Stockport, Wycombe, Exeter. Now, coming to League One, when Derby County got relegated, I didn't really know what to expect. After 2 years in the division, I have to be completely honest, I think Birmingham are going to be struggle. I think Birmingham are going to struggle. They're rumoured to have an absolutely massive budget. I think it's rumoured to be about £20 million that they're rumoured to be looking to spend this window. So I'm unsure how Birmingham are going to really get on. I think it's going to be a really interesting season for them. I think Bolton Wanderers have to be up there with the favourites. Now, if we do look to the final day of the season, what storylines could we have? Obviously, Peterborough, Rotherham, are they going to be battling for that final automatic promotion place? Obviously, we saw Bolton and Peterborough in a similar battle heading into the final game of this season. Wycombe and Stockport, is that going to be relegation battle? Shrewsbury and Crawley, that could be relegation threatened. You obviously got Huddersfield and Leyton Orient. That could be a playoff battle. Lincoln and Wrexham too. Charlton and Burton. So there's some big storylines that could end this League One campaign. And I think it's going to be really interesting to see how it does go on. If we do look at the league table, it's going to be very interesting to see. I think there's one of about 12 clubs. Three of about 12 clubs, in my opinion, who could end up getting promoted. I think you've got to put Birmingham City, Huddersfield and Rotherham in that conversation. I think you've also can't dismiss the likes of Bolton, Charlton. I think Lincoln are going to be in with a shout. Peterborough, they've got to be in with a shout. Burton, if I haven't already mentioned them. I think Leyton Orient might be in there as well. So who else is there who I've missed off? Obviously, Stevenage maybe could be up there. So it's going to be really interesting. I think relegation wise, I don't even know who could even be in that battle. Obviously, I think Crawley are probably going to be favourites to go down. They've lost some massive players over the last few weeks. So it's going to be interesting to see how they do rebuild and redevelop that squad heading into this League One campaign. Now, a big team I want to look into over the next season is Nigel Clough's Mansfield Town. I think he's a very, very good manager. He's done really, really well with Mansfield, getting them promoted into League One. Are they going to be able to make that step up and push themselves towards the Championship? That's going to be really interesting to see. But let me know your thoughts down in the comments. Hit that subscribe button if you have not done so already. And there's a big year here for Birmingham, Huddersfield and Rotherham. If they can get straight back up and take 2 or 3 promotion slots from other League One clubs, it's going to be really, really interesting. I personally think Birmingham and Huddersfield may struggle. I think there's a lot to talk about with those two teams. Obviously, we've seen with Derby County came down with Liam Rossini at the helm when they started the season, and the type of football they were playing, the type of football we were playing, very well suited to Championship football with top level players, but didn't get the results away from home in League One, which makes it a little bit difficult, which is why we moved on to Paul Warne, who pushed us into those playoff places for a large part of that first season. And the second season, we really dragged ourselves to a results-based style. Wasn't the greatest to watch at times, and that's what I think some of these newly relegated League One teams like Huddersfield and Birmingham have to look out for. It's not like the Championship. You just got to get your results. Don't worry about performances. Getting them points on the board as early as possible is all that matters. Pompey got their points on the board early and were able to stabilise themselves in that top position, obviously winning the title in the end. Derby County struggled at the start, but then found a rhythm in around October, November time and sort of carried themselves all the way to automatic promotion. Let me know down in the comments who you think is going to get promoted. I've got my Q&A video coming out this evening, so make sure you do check that out, and I'll catch you in my next video. Make sure to go and find me on TikTok, pictured here, and Twitter, pictured here. These are the places where I'll keep you all up to date with all my upcoming videos and my thoughts and feelings around the Formula 1 and football weekend.